Well, the results in. Just finished watching the Anthony Holmes Danny Christie fight. For those that don't want to know the result, switch off. For those that may want to know it and didn't get to see the fight or actually had the news of it yet, it was a great fight. Anthony coming out, switch it in, lots of movement left and right, causing Danny one or two problems, catching him coming in, and if Danny got too close, obviously Anthony tied him up. Danny's not as skilled at that as yet, but he improved in this fight, I have to say. Did a bit of clinching himself and has obviously learnt a fair bit about that. In the second round, not sure whether it were a clash of heads or Anthony did throw a nice little right hook, uppercut inside. Danny came out of that with a big gash on his left eye. Again, hard to see whether it was a clash of heads or a punch itself, but nevertheless, a big gash, so obviously gushing blood. At one point they both went to the deck in the first, but that was more of an MMA takedown. So obviously end of the second round, Danny's got a big gash. Third round, he has to throw caution to the wind a little bit. Anthony was starting to look like he were getting a little bit tired. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but he looked like he maybe a bit of nervous energy and what have you. So Danny started connecting with some straight rights. Good jab as well, and getting a bit closer. And you could see that it obviously at this point his eyes wide open, and just staunching the blood. But and they did quite a good job of that. But it comes out in the fourth, Danny, and as I say, it looked like he was throwing caution to the wind, getting closer and closer. He caught Anthony with a big right hand that put him over. Anthony obviously went down for the count, got back up, and Danny just launched an attack at him, hit him with lefts and rights, a big left hook that caught Anthony, and a few after that. Anthony went over, went onto his knees, but you could see that it's, he wasn't really in any state to continue. It just have been more of the same. Danny just keeps on impressing. Just out of a lion, as Anthony had, to be fair. Just couldn't seem to, I don't know, it was more of a nervous energy and stamina issue with Anthony. He didn't seem to be, I don't know, fully fit. I mean, that sounds odd, but he seemed to have spent a lot of nervous energy. So the second and third, he was glancing up at what I'm imagining with the clock in the arena. I could be wrong, but wanting the rounds to tick down. But we know Danny Christie will just keep going all night long like that. So he just couldn't keep him off. And when he got a bit more desperate, Danny obviously were getting closer, throwing caution to the wind, and then this big right hand and a big left hook, and that's it. That's that. It's done. Well, we say done. Who knows? There might be rematches. There were no interviews at the end of the fight, so we're not too sure, what either might have said. But thankfully, Danny went over while Anthony were being attended to. He won't concussed. He would awake, shall we say that, and his team were around him, and Danny went over. Nice gesture, knelt down and kind of looked at Anthony and just gave him a pat on his thigh. And obviously once Anthony had recovered to a point, as the ref gave the decision, they shook hands, had a little word, and that's it. Hopefully that's, they'll have the podcast and the chat about the fight and that. But like I said, Danny Christie is improving. He's improving, and each fight he gets better and better, and he's learning how to tie people up now. But how many more fights he wants, who knows? 3-4, he said. Got a big fight coming up now in the States with this win. But there were a point when Anthony was on top. Certainly after the first round, he got Danny on the ropes and he's throwing big uppercuts. And again in the second round, he did that. So Yeah, he had his moments, Anthony, but he just couldn't keep Danny off of him. So there we have it. Great fight. And we were loath to pick a winner, as I said, but the boxing styles for this BKFC is those that have actually a better boxing background are going to be at an advantage for this discipline anyway. Straighter punching, have the skills to, well, just solid straight shots, and that's proving that. God bless them both. Thankfully, no issues at all at the end of the fight, and hopefully, like I said, they'll get on the podcasts and they'll have a chat about it and be friends, because they are very much alike. They are, and I'm sure that there'll be no animosity after this, because there were no fouls and it was as fair as fighting can be. I mean, all's fair in love and war, as I say, but there were no issues as regards low blows or anything like that. So there you have it.